Hey everybody, Adam Savage in one of my favorite places in the world, the Jim Henson Creature Shop with Jurgen. Sir, how are you?
Hello, a pleasure.
Good to see you. We have here a brand new Gorg.
Yes, sir.
Okay, tell me what this is for.
Well, we've got a new holiday special that just came out for Fraggle Rock, Back to the Rock. Amazing. And one of the B stories, but also a very exciting part, is the Gorg family, Ma, Pa, and Jr. are expecting a brand new bundle of joy to pop out. This is the newborn princess baby Gorg. And we were specifically asked to design it in-house and then build it in here, and they requested 2 puppets.
Okay, so when something like this comes out, they realize they're going to have to build a new puppet. Where does that begin with for you? You get some drawings, I'm assuming.
Yes, we have Pete Brooks, who works here at the Creature Shop. So he did a couple of doodles, sent those off to the powers that be, and then from that they said, good direction, keep going. And so then this was actually his final doodle and said, we're going from that.
Okay.
And if everyone has ever seen the Fraggles or a Gorg, you'll know the Gorgs have a very specific style, basically big, gourd-like heads and those kind of funny, big bulbous noses.
Yeah.
So he's like, we've got to keep that in there.
So then is this, am I right, this is part of the development process?
Absolutely, because we needed a baby that was big enough. So obviously it's much bigger than a Fraggle, but still needed to be cradled by Ma Gorg in her arms.
Okay, and so these 2 puppets have different skill sets based on the needs of the shot, is that
absolutely, right? Absolutely. They definitely had said they wanted to have the same animatronic features like the other Gorgs. They both have blinking eyes and moving pupils. We cut back and said, not doing the pupils, but we do want very expressive eyelids.
Gotcha.
So we ended up deciding the head puppet, the hero puppet, would be the one with the eyes. And then we would have a secondary puppet that we call Robo Baby. And that would be used for full body shots where the puppeteer could not be in the scene. And we would put a robotic arm inside to puppeteer the head and robotic leg kicks so it could kick.
So this is the totality of the mover for the carryable Gorg.
I mean, if you break down a puppeteer's arm into simple mechanics, that's it.
Yep. Oh my God, that's great. I want to just back paddle just a minute because I understand this is getting the form right. But am I correct? I would assume that the final details on the face take a lot more finessing and approval. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Again, we really wanted to make sure that, as you can see here in some of these photos, we had to mimic the style of the Gorgs that we already know and love.
So you keep the parents right here, right top of mind.
And so we literally said, I think I just said, why don't we take her pink, his purple, and I did one of those color apps and blended it together, and this is what we would have gotten.
Okay, so like I have worked on some non-human characters, and like one of the things that is the bugbear is that there's some characters, if you get one thing wrong, you're so far off the mark. And every character I'm sure is different about what are the features that like exemplifies that character. Building a new character must be even more difficult because you haven't found the character yet.
Yes, and also, these are grown-ups. Junior is a grown-up, and they have very exaggerated features.
Right.
We had to make sure that we tread carefully because we still wanted that baby, so adorable factor. So she couldn't be too exaggerated in too many ways.
That's amazing. Okay, let's talk about the mechanics.
Yes,
so she had this hero head has blinking eyes.
Blinking eyes, upper and lower lids.
Upper and lower lids. Is that a mechanism or is it a electronic mech?
Electronic, animatronic with an RC.
Can we see it go?
I bet so. All right, so we'll turn this on. I'm gonna let you play with this.
Oh, I get to operate?
Absolutely.
Oh, excellent.
All right, go for it.
All right. Oh, there's so much expressiveness in just the upper and the lower.
Oh yeah, watching the videos, you could see the puppeteer. They could just inch those eyes and get that, I'm just about to get angry and get an angry cry.
Oh, wow. Is there a moment when you're constructing a puppet where the character looks you in the eye for the first time?
Too many times. Too many times.
I mean, does that help you find the character? Does that help you know that you're in the right zone?
Yes, it does help me go, okay, there we go. Now I'm starting to see it.
That is amazing. I don't want to leave. Oh, there we go. I didn't want to leave her like, oh.
Now, and then also the side, you can slide that. That's if you want to do it. There we go.
Oh, nice.
So when she would start to nod off,
right,
where the baby's trying to stay awake, there we go. You could do the flutter.
Oh my God, that's great. How long was the process from you getting the first drawings to delivering these two?
We started this in early February, and then we moved up, and she was mostly constructed and finished by the time we moved up to Canada in March, and then that's it.
So not much more than a month.
Yeah, wow. Month and a half. We'll say month and a half. Now, my construction, my part was to build the puppet itself and get her skinned. The animatronics was not my development, so I cannot take credit for that.
Okay.
That would be John Criswell, who did the animatronics for that.
And that's a process you guys have burned in over decades here about mechanics talking to aesthetics and making sure they all work and that the character still comes out.
Correct.
I could imagine you could mechanize a puppet and lose the character by accident.
That is always a concern. So yes, I just gave him, this was like the first rough head. This was the original baby head. So I built this and then gave John the dimensions to work with.
So now he knows exactly how much room he has to fit stuff.
And I just said, I think it was like a 3 1/4 inch eyeball or something like that. So yes, then he could take this and tear it apart, do what he needed.
When I'm doing something that's creative that I haven't done before, I'm always convinced somewhere around the 3/4 mark that I'm messing it up totally and that I'm absolutely getting this entirely wrong. Does that process happen for you at this stage of your...
Pretty much as soon as we got to Canada and we were on the location, I realized I need to start over, and I can't because I'm in Canada and we have to start filming. That's when I got a little worried, but it happens. But because it's like I'm away from the home base here, But fortunately, we have a spectacular Creature Shop crew up there. They've worked with this for the last 2 seasons, so they were there. We had a good animatronic team, a fantastic animatronic team. So they were able to take one look at this and say, "Oh yeah, we got this covered if something breaks." And then they were the ones who helped build the neck mechanisms and the leg kicking.
Oh, these are leg kickers.
Leg kickers, yes, sir.
And it's just these wires?
It's a simple servo. It just pulls. So you would just have it pop out the bottom of the body, and then literally it would just go pull, 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 pull.
Oh, amazing. Oh, and that's I see also a lot more 3D printing in your process over the years.
Usually most of our puppets are made with foam, foam skeletons.
Yeah.
But I thought, no, these are Gorgs, and the Gorg walk-around suits, their whole body is nothing but a big tube.
Right.
Spiral tube. It's like netting and then like boning in there.
So you matched the exact...
So her arms and legs are the same as the Gorgs with a foam body.
I love it. So evolution works even in this world.
I tried to keep it similar.
Jürgen, it's really thrilling. Thank you so much for walking me through it, sir.
Thank you very much.
That was really amazing. Hello, Scott.
Hi, welcome back.
Thank you so much. I just met the baby.
Cool.
And these are the parents.
This is mom and dad.
Okay, tell me about these beautiful heads.
Well, these are the Gorg heads. What we used on these was the original heads from the show in the 80s.
What?
So these were, we've reskinned them and replaced the foam because that, of course, was kind of degenerating. But I'll show you inside because it's really cool.
Oh my God, yes. I was dreaming I could look inside. What?
You can see the top of her head just comes right off.
This is all rattan.
Yep. And again, just the strongest, lightest thing so that they could, hold this on their heads.
Oh, look at that, mounted right to a bicycle helmet.
Now, what's different nowadays is when they did the original show, it was one of the first times they'd ever put a camera inside a head.
For the operator to see.
So up here where we've placed the servos, there used to be TV cameras. And when we first pulled these out of the archives, the TV cameras were the eyepiece from big video cameras at the time.
That's what the puppeteer was looking at.
So the actual camera was in here, and it was a big camera, you know, you can imagine.
Yeah.
And then the eyepiece was kind of wedged in there, so it was like a lot going on. And then because of all the weight at the front, these were all counterbalanced with bags of pennies.
What?
So they had Canadian pennies hanging in bags at the back. It was really cool.
That is, so you were able to remove huge amounts of weight and volume from the original costume.
Yes. As soon as we took out all the camera gear at the front, this structure was so light, and we were at the same time we were building a new Junior Gorg.
Right.
And that one we rebuilt the whole frame and made a whole new head from scratch. But these we thought, why not use that existing structure, because it's great.
When you are reskinning a character like this, is there? I would strike me as a craftsperson like an existential moment of like, I could get this wrong, and then no one will ever remember what they looked like.
Yep. No.
You feel this pressure?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
With every moment, you know. Like, well, even like just trying to replicate the hair.
Right.
And all
I'm
this
looking
stuff.
at all of these different textures. You have to put your whole brain back into somebody else's brain from 40 years ago.
Yep. Well, and it's kind of the fun of it too, is because you start to learn the lessons that they learned and implemented.
Oh, interesting.
So on the Gorgs, here, let's look at the front again.
Yeah.
You can see the whole bottoms of their jaws are very loose.
Right.
And the fabric is very loose. Well, of course, when we started building them, it's just like, let's fill that out a little bit so we don't get kind of a fabric wrinkle here. But really quickly, you discover it's loose that way because it bangs into the body shell. And so it has to give way. And so it's like you learn these little lessons that they came to because of experience. And but again, we try to use the exact same materials. So this is an old material we used to call bunny fur.
And you had some, or you were able to find
we
it?
have some. We had some in a stock in New York, but they don't make it anymore. It's
Right.
Like
And I mean, if they had some in New York, it wasn't dyed, so then you have to get that color right.
Exactly.
Which
So
is its whole own.
Yep, you match
Do you
the
have
color.
a color someone here that's their one hill they're always dying on?
A bit per project.
Oh,
On
okay.
this one, it was me. So
Oh, wow, man.
on this one, I had the dye pot.
Color matching is no simple
it's
matter.
No joke.
I love this, that like unpacking the past construction where we think we're all modern and we've solved all the problems. You realize, oh no, everything that I think might be dumb is actually done for an excellent reason.
Yep.
That still applies.
Yep. And on the original show, like Gorg went through iterations. So season 1 Gorg is different than season 2 Gorg, because again, they were perfecting and finding ways to make it a little bit better and a little more functional.
Did you guys do any upgrades to her mechanics for this one?
On the original show, they didn't have any eye movement because, of course, there was just a hole
where the
with the camera. And so it's like, so that couldn't work. So we've actually, on both of them, we upgraded the eye movements. So they have kind of full tracking eyes and the full blink.
And is the operator wearing just a little pair of FPV goggles from drone racing or something?
They actually have a monitor in there.
Oh,
so
okay.
there's a monitor that kind of sits right around the nose area.
Small monitors must be a
see
godsend for the puppeteers.
Oh yeah, like right in front of their eyes.
What were the hidden challenges that might surprise somebody about upgrading these guys?
Well, again, just
I mean, I'm most surprised by the retention of the rattan frame.
Well,
like,
and
why it's so beautiful. I would have assumed that getting rid of it would be most people's first impulse, but I love that you built it off of that.
Well, and I think to try to keep them, to keep the spirit of the original show, it's like I always like to try to keep as much of that original, you know, because again, they made these perfectly. You know, all the legacy puppets and stuff are so good that you just have to kind of honor that and go with it.
They were the end result of such a crucible of iteration.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And here you are also at the end result of a crucible of iteration.
Yep, doing little fixes and changes. And
are there little bits of, I'm curious if when you're redoing puppets like this, if production might say, we want a little more attitude or we want a little more of this part of this character coming out?
There is some of that.
Is that something that comes up in discussions?
Well,
about?
and actually that comes up with the performers. So that as soon as we finish these, we then start working with the puppeteers, who come in, you know, a week before they're going to start going. And then they start going, and usually that comes from the performer who says, I really want to be able to, Pa's got to get really angry in this scene. And then we can go in and adjust the servos and try to get a little more out of it in one direction or another.
So when I love this. So they'll watch their takes and make sure that everything they want to come across is coming across.
Yep.
Oh, fantastic.
And then we sit with them the whole time and just make sure that they're getting what they need to get, and right up until they're on set. Like on set, they can ask for more, and it's just like, yes, we can make that happen.
Amazing. So. When you reclad heads this beautiful, do you save the old faces? Do those go into some deep archival color art library?
They do.
Good.
The company has an amazing archives.
I can only imagine.
And which again becomes a resource for us when we're building these things. Right. So certainly with the doozers, we had archives send us original doozers so that we could. Again, you want to learn from them. It's like we have this opportunity to walk in their shoes and learn what they've learned, and then just play.
It seems like what's going on here is a conversation that's about 50 years deep, occurring back and forth the whole time.
Yep.
That's really beautiful, Scott. Thank you, man. These. I did not realize that you had reclad them totally, which is very so intense to me. They look so authentic. If you told me these were 50-year-old masks, I'd be 100%. Makes total sense. Jude, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, John.
Hello.
Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you.
I want to talk about the puppeteering because I figure for a brand new character, there's always a brand new system for bringing that character out. Am I right?
Yes, it's like a brand new learning opportunity every time. You're starting over from scratch. You're learning about that character's, isms, and you're figuring out the puppet itself. What does the puppet do? Yeah. What can it do? What looks best on camera? What doesn't? So it's like a brand new game every time.
I mean, I've seen your lot pick up a puppet and run it through some vocal exercises and some movements, and each puppet do they sort of guide you as to what it can do?
They do, and I think it starts with our amazing Creature Shop and how they build the puppets. They build them to be the most flexible, the most expressive, the most usable. And then we get to go in there and say, well, what if I twist my hand this way? What does that do to the puppet? Or if I stick my thumb out inside, does it make the puppet, in this case, like with the baby, does it make her look a little bit more petulant? Or does it make her look a little bit more, like she's right about to, be on the verge of tears? Yeah. So you start to learn little tricks, and you find the limitations of it, and then you either play those limitations or you avoid them, just depending on what you need for the scene.
I can imagine that some of your muscle memory for other puppets can get in your way of I think it's going to look like this. In fact, it's actually going to look like this.
Yes, a good example would be like a puppet like Gobo or Barry, who I play. They both have really flexible mouth palettes. They're basically just sheets of rubber that we can move our 4 top fingers and really get a multitude of expressions. Right. But sometimes you get a puppet like Sprocket or like the Princess who have flexible mouths, but it's different. So like with Sprocket, for example, he's got a harder mouth plate on the top, so I can't curl his face the way I would with Gobo or Barry. So I have to come up with a different way to get that expression across. If I want to show disgust or frustration or like I would with a Fraggle, I can't do that with Sprocket.
Oh, fascinating.
So I have to learn a different way to move him, or a different way to tilt his head, or a different thing.
I would imagine that would mean that every now and then you read a script and realize, oh, I might need a little modification to get to embarrassment or shame.
Yes, exactly. And sometimes it's the vocalization. Sometimes it's putting something on the puppet just for that scene. We did a really fun scene with Sprocket where he got blown by this giant fan, and so he was just overwhelmed and over it. And so we added a little bit of of things to his eyes, and we gave him like a tongue that was hanging outside of his mouth that he doesn't normally have. Yeah. But things like that you can modify. Right. And then other times you have a puppet like Princess or Sprocket who has some mechanism to it. So he has expressive ears that can go up and down with this little trigger here. Yeah. Oh. So what I can't do that with Gobo. Gobo doesn't have ears. Right. But with Sprocket I can. So maybe something that with Gobo I do a little like a little listening thing. With Sprocket I can either put an ear up or I can put both ears up, and just with the tilt of the head, with the eye mechanism inside, it all kind of combines to make a different expression. So you just kind of play with those limitations and those different abilities.
Well, in regarding the combination of things to bring out the character, each of these are puppets that require more than one puppeteer.
Yes.
Okay, so does one puppeteer sort of take the lead on a puppet and sort of, oh, let me figure this out, but come in and help me out? Or is it a collaborative?
It's a collaborative thing, I would say. I think you have your principal puppeteer who does the voice and does the main part of the puppet, right? But then you have an assistant who is helping you, and what they add to the puppet is you can't put it into words. It's so important. So for example, like with Princess, Kira Hall performs the baby's voice and does the main puppeteering for the baby. Karen Prell is off camera doing the eyes. And what those eyes do is just as important as what Kira's doing inside, moving the mouth. It needs to all work, in tandem to get the best character performance.
And they can't be speaking live while like, hey, do this little funny thing with the eyes while I'm doing this. They're just knowing this from their institutional knowledge and from working with each other.
Yeah, I mean, there's different situations. Like with Princess, she was our brand new, beautiful character for the first snow of Fraggle Rock. So we knew we wanted to make sure she looked great and she was ready to go. So we had a big rehearsal process. So Kira and Karen had a lot of time in front of a mirror, in front of a video camera, saying, well, this looks kind of fun. Oh, what if I do this? Or what if the eyes do that?
Leaving nothing to chance, really.
Leaving as much as you can, right?
Yeah, of course.
But then there's times where oftentimes as a puppeteer, it's like, okay, you're doing this puppet, go. And you literally just have to trust that symbiotic, unspoken relationship. And that's why we oftentimes work with the same person. So with Sprocket, Karen Prell, Red Fraggle, was the original right hand on the original series. Wow. And so when I took over Sprocket, I was like, would you be my right hand? She's like, yes. And we had miraculously this incredibly unspoken, easy way with him. Part of it was because she had the experience of doing it, but I think also our friendship, we just knew each other's rhythms and isms and beats. And then Jordan Lockhart, who plays Wembley, he and I are really, really close friends. He took over doing the right hand most recently, and it's the same thing in a different way.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? And you just, it is this weird, like, tangible thing that you can't really vocalize, but for some reason you understand each other. And one of the things we get trained on as puppeteers when we started, I started very young, I started at 16, you basically become an apprentice, and part of your training is right-handing and assisting, and you learn how to follow someone's performance. It's actually the hardest. I think it's harder than doing your own character.
I can totally imagine.
You're at mercy. If you mess the shot up, it's your fault. You can't get out of it.
And you've got to be. It's a. So we were talking off camera, and I was saying I find some parody in your description of that unspoken connection with my partnership with Jamie Heineman, of like not friends but deeply intimate in how mechanics work and understanding how mechanics work.
Yeah.
And it really is it feels like an expansion of what your mind can do, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think that if you believe in like Sixth Sense and you believe in things that we can't quite figure out as humans, that there's some other way that we communicate. I think that has to be true with puppetry too, because there's times where you're like, how did that person know I was gonna do that thing? And they followed it. It came together at that moment to make the most amazing reaction or the funniest end of the take.
I'll go one further and I'll wager there are times you get something and the director says, do that again, and you're like, I have no idea.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Wow.
Yeah, especially like with characters like Sprocket, like he doesn't speak a language, he speaks dog.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's just the physical moment of like my hand went with Karen's hand or Jordan's hand at the right moment to create that expression. Or I got an instinct at the end of a take to do a little button and they followed miraculously and it worked. And you're right, like, and then it's like, can we do it again? It's like, I don't know. Maybe? I'm not sure.
I'm also finding myself wondering if sometimes, even with a mature puppet that you've been using for months, that you get asked to do a certain thing and you're like, I'm actually gonna have to rehearse this. I'm actually gonna have to see how that expression really plays out.
Sure, especially if it's something really physical, like with Red Fraggle on the show, she does a lot of diving, a lot of physical stuff. And so Karen and her team, sometimes they'll take 3 or 4 puppeteers, they'll work it out in front of a mirror, in front of a camera, to really make sure, to your point, that when you're in the moment, it's 6:55, we gotta wrap at 7 and we get a chance to do it. We get that one take to do it right. But other times, I've been doing Gobo now for 13 years and I still find things where I go, oh, if I do that, oh, it gives them this really pensive expression. Or if I do this little tilt of the head and I pull the hand up in a certain way, he looks like he's about to say something and he gets cut off. It's just little things that you just discover by chance, and then
deeper and deeper subtleties as you get more.
You put it in the encyclopedia for later of like, I need an expression, oh God, pensive. Okay, this is how you do it.
Okay, so let's talk about Princess specifically.
Yes.
What were some of the most interesting challenges in bringing her to life?
Well, the first thing was scale, because, you know, the Gorgs are full body costumes and they're oversized. And in the Fraggle world, they're like 18 feet to a human, right?
Yeah.
So you can imagine how big Junior would be in this room right now. And so we talked a lot about, okay, when a baby Gorg is born, how big is she or he? How do they operate? Can they walk? Can they crawl? How expressive are they? How verbal are they? And what we realized was, if the Gorgs were going to be full body costumes and the Fraggles in the Gorg scale are these little, you know, 6 to 7 inch rotted Fraggle puppets, she had to be big enough that she would tower over the Fraggles, but small enough that one of our costume character Gorgs could carry her. And so we talked at first, maybe we hire a small person to be inside of a walk around costume, but then we thought then you wouldn't buy her necessarily as much as a baby compared to the Gorgs. And so then we thought, well, let's take the two worlds. Let's take like the hand puppet Fraggle world and the animatronic eye, robotic face Gorg world and blend them together and make this character that's kind of a hybrid of the two, because we don't really have anybody else on the show that's like that.
Interesting.
And that's where she came, that's how she came to be. And what's amazing is, you know, when the idea came to not only have the hand puppet version, but the fully robotic version that could be carried around without anything trailing from it, then it like opened up every door possible of like, oh my gosh, now you could show Ma and Pa and Junior interacting with this baby who's very much alive in a wide shot, moving around, put her down, then you can cut to the hand puppet so it's super expressive.
And your mind just puts it all together. And
exactly. And then when you see her with the Fraggles, it all makes sense, because the Fraggles to her are about this tall, so then the Fraggles are like little playthings that she just picks up and throws around and treats like stuffed animals, because she doesn't know. So then it just, that kind of fueled the writing and the comedy. So it all kind of works together when you're creating a new character. Like, how does this all kind of radiate out to the scripting, to the direction, to the performance, to everything? But really for her, it was how do we make her flexible so she's really expressive, which the Creature Shop, as always, did a gorgeous job. She's got this beautifully expressive mouth, very, very gummy.
And that's hand operated.
It's a hand,
right.
So she's basically, it's a traditional kind of, you know, through the sleeve puppet. And then my hand goes inside of her mouth.
And so you can do lots of stuff
with
moving your hand. Look at all
stuff.
that.
Yeah, Kira really made a meal of it and did all these great curls in to look like you know, she's going to have a nervous breakdown, or, you know, kind of sweet little, you know.
Man, that little, wow.
You know, she gets that little smile there.
Yes.
And little happy face. You know, she knows how to get her way. Gorg has figured it out. So you know, you get that, and then you start with that, and she's pretty light considering the fact that she's got servos inside of here and a head plate and stuff like that. And, you know, so it's really, and that's, I think, what the shop does so beautifully, is it's not just what you see aesthetically on the outside, it's what's inside too. So we can give the best performance possible. Do you want to try her on?
God, yes!
Yes, of course.
God, I didn't know that was
So
possible.
go through there.
All right.
You can kind of feel your forefingers go on top, your thumb goes on the bottom.
Yep, I found the little sleeve for my
There you go.
thumb.
And you can feel how just gummy that mouth is.
I can feel how gummy that mouth is, but boy, am I learning that your hands are strong as hell. Oh my gosh.
Oh, and here, this is our radio control for the eyes. And so there's servos inside there, and so Karen Prell, who does the eyes, would stand off camera and just use these little triggers to add so much life. And so, you know, the combination of being able to widen the eyes a little bit more when she's on the attack, or maybe we're about to have a breakdown, or, oh no, I'm gonna cry because my little lower lids went up, or I can flutter my eyes to get what I want, you know? Or we had a lot of fun with like a slow kind of just evil, or maybe, you know. So you really get this like beautiful combination of skills. And Karen is such an incredible puppeteer. She'd watch the monitor and just follow what Kira did. And if Kira turned their head just slightly a certain way, Karen would be on it and match it with the eyes. So it's again, this unspoken, beautiful, symbiotic relationship. And of course, between takes, you give notes and you say, well, maybe if I tilt the head back and you do the lower eyes, maybe that'll make her look like she's about to cry. Okay, great. I'll do that right after this moment. But you still have to trust the moment.
It seems like the closest analog is musicians, really. Like you guys are playing a song together with different instruments, but to the same end.
Yes.
And that, I mean, again, I go back to that intimacy of that moment of coworkers being able to like, because I'm sure when you're done, you don't think, oh, I got that one part right. You think the performance nailed it.
Yes. Yes, and you know what's really cool is that oftentimes we'll do like dances with the characters on blue screen or things like that, where you'll have, you know, like if I'm doing Gobo and I'll have like my hand inside of Gobo's head, I'll have maybe I'll do the left hand, someone will be doing the right hand, another puppeteer will be doing the feet, and then maybe sometimes another puppeteer will be on the tail. And sometimes to get those shots, you don't have a lot of time. And you're just trusting this beautiful rhythmic, dance between each person. And I love those moments where you're not in your head thinking about, I have to move my head exactly this way. You're just trusting each other, and sometimes the most magical things come out of that.
So it's like it's a kind of an active listening to the situation. That
Yes.
everyone's maintaining this kind of 10,000 foot consciousness at the same time as the 2-inch consciousness.
Yes, I would say it's like a different kind of improv,
Yeah.
where when you're an improv artist, you have to be ready, and in a lightning flash, you have to come up with the next word, the next beat, the next story point, right? I think it's the same thing with puppetry. It's like you have to be ready to come up with the next move, the next little tweak, the next something that affects the shot and changes it, and you have to do it. Like an improv artist can't say, and now I'm going to do a joke about this.
No.
You have to be with each other,
Right,
right? And
right.
I think that same kind of connection is for puppetry as well.
John, it is so thrilling. I imagine it must feel like a lot of pressure in the beginning with the new character to find them.
It is. I mean, and I'm not just saying this because this happened on the show, that we gave birth to a new baby, but you do feel like you're giving birth. And it's like
Sure.
you're putting this character out in the world, and you're hoping that everything kind of comes together on set to make it what you want it to be, and then beyond that, and the editing and the vocalizations and everything, that it all comes together.
And then I'm going to tie this all around, because I would imagine as you see each of these puppets, they each represent to you hundreds of hours of collaboration with
Yes.
other amazing professionals, and you remember these characters and the things that they did.
Absolutely, and what I love is that it all started as someone's idea, whether it was a sketch, whether it was a written word, whether it was just wouldn't it be fun to have and I think back to her that, she started, 3 years ago when we were finishing season 2 of like, wouldn't it be fun to get, if Ma had a baby, and how would that change the Gorg dynasty? How would that change Junior's relationship? He's not the baby anymore. Oh my, like our brains just started going, and so to be sitting here now a few years later, and here she is, it's so cool.
The last time we talked, I left thinking, oh my God, puppeteering sounds like the most physically demanding job I've ever imagined. And while I still think that,
Yes.
I had not really understood that deep level of collaboration that it requires and engenders, and that's a beautiful thing.
One of our puppeteers, Frank Meshkalite, says it so beautifully. He's like, this show and this kind of work takes so much out of you. You're truly drained by the end of the day, physically and mentally, but there's nothing that you feel when you lay in bed at night going to sleep other than, oh my gosh, how lucky are we? And that kind of work is like, it's a dream. It's a dream job.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Amazing. I can't believe you stuck it out till the end. Well, now that you're here, let's talk about some of the cool stuff we have at adamsavage.com, our merch site. We make stuff for makers, and one of the most important tools a maker possesses is, of course, their laptop. That's why this year we are making 2 laptop sleeves, a large and a small, to protect your precious cargo. Like all of our products, they're made of upcycled materials, manufactured in the United States. And on each of these models, we have included a new feature, which is like my new favorite thing in the world, is this pencil holder with a rubber stamp of my name here. This is inspired by the NASA astronauts' name labels on the Apollo astronauts. And there's one on both sizes. Get yours today at adamsavage.com.